Plank. Presented by Ram continues on ABC Action News Now.
Well, folks, welcome back to The Plank. Tom Korn along with John Sable as we head into our third quarter hour, and this is going to be the Chicago Bears quarter hour. And before we get to Mark Giangreco, who's standing by in Chicago, remember now we got a pizza on the line at this stage of the game, and all you got to do is tell us who said this.
I'm grateful, for the award, and I'm happy that my performance helped the team to get a win. Most receivers, I'm sure they feel when they have a game like that. It feels like a basketball player when they get hot, they can't miss. So I kind of felt something like that.
I think the key in that is when he said wide receiver or receiver.
Right. That is a dead giveaway on who this could be.
That's the key.
Plus, if you were paying attention earlier in the week, out of a certain award, this guy won too.
Which was a pretty nice award for a young kid like that,
Mm-hmm.
All right, 813-367-0171.
That is right.
Hey,
you remember?
That was by memory.
You memorized
God,
it.
I'm an old fart. I don't know how the hell I remember that. All right, well, let's bring in Mark Giangreco from Chicago right now. Mark, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot for the time.
Hey, John, Tommy, how you been, man? Long time no talk.
It's been well, last time we ran into each other was the Super Bowl down in Miami. Coincidentally, when Lovey was taking on Tony Dungy, and we were standing up on that News One big plank they had back there behind the stadium.
Right, just a 2x4 with 35 sportscasters on it.
Yeah, it was. And fortunately enough, they canceled our late show, and you guys got stuck in that windstorm or something.
Oh, I'm doing a live shot on the field in about 3 feet of water. I was wearing black sandals, and they melted off my feet. It was like licorice.
Wow.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. And I remember, of course, none of the Bears were available. They got on a bus, and they took off. So we're just interviewing a bunch of Colts, including Emery Moorhead's kid who was playing tight end for the Colts at the time. And he's like, hey, gee, Mr. Giangreco, I used to watch you in the Columbus Day Parade. I'm like, hey, please, don't show my age here. But that was a long, long time ago. That seems like forever.
Yeah, it has been a long time ago, and it has really been forever, Mark. But listen, a lot of things have changed. Lovey being down here and trying to resurrect this football team after the Schiano debacle. But, things are not going so well. Still, the fact is I get the feeling that perhaps the folks in Chicago may be missing Lovey right now because Trestman's reign at this stage of the game is really not producing.
Well, it's really funny. The Tribune did a survey a couple of days ago noting that in 2012 they did a survey asking readers to pull Lovie Smith whether he should be fired or not. 71% of the people wanted Lovie fired. They did another survey yesterday, and 71% of the people wanted Lovey back. So
that's funny.
It's mutually exclusive, though. They wanted. I guess the question was, who's a better coach, Lovey or Mark Trestman? 71% was Lovey, but that didn't mean they wanted him back. So all different categories. The thing is, Lovey truly is that quote-unquote player's coach. All the players love him. Anybody who ever played for him just loves him because he treats you like a man. He holds you accountable when you screw up. But he is such a narrow-minded defensive coach. He really knows nothing about offense. Josh McCown, fan favorite, media favorite, what a great guy. I loved it when he cried in your news conference a couple of weeks ago after a loss. He's the greatest backup quarterback you could have, the greatest guy you could have in your building, but he's not a starting NFL quarterback. Lovey really doesn't pay any attention to the offense. You guys have no running game. All you have is Mike Evans. As far as I can see, that's it. And then Lovey concentrates on defense, and from what I've seen of the Buccaneers this year, they play hard and they go after a quarterback, but it's just not working. It's just not working at all. I think Lovey needs a really, really strong offensive coordinator and needs to be more of a CEO rather than a DC, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Mark, John Sable here, and you touched on so many great points of what's wrong with the Buccaneers. I mean, they were doomed from the start, losing their offensive coordinator Jeff Tedford to heart issues,
right.
And he's not coming back. And you throw in a first-year, you have a quarterbacks coach in there, Marcus Arroyo, who played under Tedford at Cal, who's pretty much calling his plays for the first time ever at the NFL level. So that's causing a lot of issues. You mentioned the running game. The Buccaneers are just dreadful. Only 3 games this entire year where they've rushed for more than 100 yards. You add that, plus you're facing a pretty good defense that can, stop the run at home with that turf. I mean, I know that's new turf they put down, but typically I
It's the
favor.
worst turf in the league still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Chicago Park District and the Bears have had this ongoing battle for 100 years. I think that kind of turf is only used in 2 other fields in the NFL, or might be the only one.
Yeah.
And it's going to be soggy and rainy, and it's going to be cold. So it could just be a really ugly game both ways. I mean, I think Cutler should have a big day if they can protect him. I think with the Bucks it's just I don't know. I think they're so predictable, and again, the Bears' defense is awful. It's been terrible. Their secondary is really bad. Their linebackers average at best, and they really haven't been getting any penetration. But again, Josh is not the kind of guy you fear. He's a game manager. He did a great job here, a fantastic job here. But put him under a little duress, and I think the whole thing's going to cave in. I think the Bears are going to win at 27-20, but it's going to be one of the ugliest games you ever saw.
27-20?
That's a lot of points.
That is a lot of
For the
points.
Bucks, 20 points is 2 games worth. What are you talking about? Hey, what about Matt Forte's the guy that I got my eye on? You know, last time they played, he rushed for over 100. He rushed for over 100 against Minnesota and had, you know, combined like 170 yards or whatever it was.
Well, he's probably the best all-purpose back in the league. I mean,
Yeah.
rushing and receiving, you know, 7 out of 10 games. He's doing triple digits, so in combined yardage, and they got to get him off early. And the thing is, in all these games that the Bears have lost, they start out running Forte left, running right, dumping it out to him in the backfield. Everything's going great, and they go away from it because they just can't resist, you know, Cutler going deep. Or Jay will check off, and he just, you know, he loves showing off his big arm and loves to try to force things. But it just seems to me it's a pattern where they just don't stay with Forte enough. Maybe they will Sunday against this particular defense.
And you're right, Cutler does force a lot of passes, second most interceptions in the league. I mean, the Buccaneers' secondary has been tested before. They've been burned before. How do you see that playing out when you have your 2 stud wide receivers in Alshon Jeffrey and Brandon Marshall?
Well, they should have a field day. I mean, that's what everybody's banking on here. I mean, today, all the offensive guys were talking about, hey, you know, we practice against Lovey's defense all the time. We know exactly, you know, what to expect and, you know, giving him kudos and everything else. But they know that if Jay gets a little bit of time, he can pick apart that secondary. And, you know, and Jeffrey and Marshall need to be Jeffrey and Marshall. We saw a little of it last week, you know.
How about Jared Allen? He didn't practice today, and they said it's not injury related. What's going on with him?
He's just getting old.
Oh, is he?
I tell you what, he's a great soundbite, and he's a great guy, and he's another one of those great locker room guys. He plays hard, but he even admitted 2 or 3 weeks ago, he goes, I got to find a half a step. He never should have said that because then the media jumped on and said, oh, you're a half a step slower. And he's like, oh, I didn't say that. You know, you guys always twist everything around. Fact of the matter is he has lost half a step. He's almost there for the sack. You know, he gets that hurry instead of the sack. You know, and he got a couple last week. But again, it's against the Vikings. They're awful. I mean, that's a terrible-looking team. I feel bad for Mike Zimmer. He's a fiery defensive coordinator kind of guy. You know, his defense plays hard. They just don't have the talent at all. And their offense, once again, Teddy Bridgewater, great talent, but very young, and he doesn't have any help. So I just think that Allen is just getting a little long in the tooth, and unlike Julius Peppers, who goes, I thought Peppers was absolutely finished. I mean, he didn't play hard here at all. He goes to the Packers. He got a pick 6 last week. He's running all over the field like the great athlete that we used to see. Allen, I think he's just, you know, he's going as hard as he can go. He's as dedicated as he can be, but he's just not the Jared Allen he used to be.
You know, talking about injuries, we expect Jeffrey and Marshall to play, right? I know they were limited today.
Yeah, they'll definitely play.
Okay. That's bad news for the Bucs, good news for the Bears, clearly. Well, when you see this whole thing playing out, Mark, you predicted a 27-20 win. How would the Buccaneers somehow win? If Jay Cutler throws some picks? Is that maybe the only way they could win?
Exactly. He's good for 2 a game. Yep. And the Bears' defensive secondary is really bad. It's in flux. They have a lot of injuries. There are guys in and out. So, you know, if Josh can buy some time, he might be able to get Evans down the field a little bit. But again, I think they'll just double him, you know.
Hey, Mark, did you hear that? Who said this thing before we went on? Did you recognize who that was? Because nobody.
I was trying hard because I'm dying for a pizza right now.
Yeah, but see, they don't understand. You know, see, I'm a Chicago-style guy. You know, I like
Right.
it. I got, Uno's, Geno's,
Giordano's?
Giordano's.
Oh yeah, Malnati's. You
yeah.
know, to take your pick. Although I'm drifting away from deep dish. I know that's sacrilegious,
Wow.
but it's getting to be like a casserole now. I'm going thin crust Sicilian. I'm going that way.
Are you really? Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Well, you got a couple of people here on the production crew that just said, yeah, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm over 2 spins now. I got to back it down.
I hear you. I hear you. Hey, listen, man, Mark, I appreciate the time you've given us, and when you get a chance to come on down here to the Tampa Bay area, we'll have a pop. All right?
You got it.
All right.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Tom.
All
Really
right, Mark.
appreciate it.
See you. All right,
Bye-bye.
Mark Giangreco joining us from WLS TV in Chicago.
Wow, he's going away from deep dish. I've never heard that from someone from
I'm
Chicago.
shocked. I didn't know what to say. It almost rendered me speechless. Because that's hard to say. That's hard
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah, it's tough to swallow.
Yeah. Well, here it is, folks. Give us a call, 813-367-0171. Most of you are all vegans out there? Come on, man.
And maybe they want a veggie pizza.
A pizza. Put that Papa John's pizza up there one more time. Come on.
Remember, you guys
We
could,
got Igor running the board tonight.
you can win a free
There it
pizza
is.
if
All right.
you can tell us who said this.
Who said this?
I'm grateful, for the award, and I'm happy that my performance helped the team get a win. Most receivers, I'm sure they feel when they have a game like that. It feels like a basketball player when they get hot, they can't miss. So it kind of felt something like that.
To a
Okay.
wide receiver.
All right, there it is. The Papa John's pizza. 813-367-0171. And it's all yours if you can tell us who that is. And we'll be back with more Matt McGuire's fantasy picks coming up. TK's picks. Zabel says. We got a lot of things we got to pack in about 10 minutes. So,
Let's do it.
ta-ta. We'll be back.